The WNBA is teetering on the edge of self-destruction, with its brightest star, Caitlyn Clark, reportedly nearing her breaking point as whispers of her exit grow louder by the day. This isn't just rookie hazing, it's a volatile mix of unchecked on-court targeting, a league seething with envy toward the very player who revived its relevance, and a media machine quick to vilify the victim. Now, a bombshell rumor is gaining traction that Clark is plotting a bold departure, a seismic move that could lay bare the WNBA's most toxic truths and leave the league scrambling to recover the spotlight she alone brought back.
WNBA record. This is her second season. And you put the numbers together, that's like 10 seasons. That girl did it in 10 seasons. That means she had won a season. Caitlyn Clark is... when Caitlyn Clark gets to 10 seasons, she's going to have 100 of these. And y'all can't get a girl her roses. Now, I don't like the fact that she be getting woke because she don't want all these lesbians to be mad at it. At the end of the day, is the woman putting in the work she's putting in the work.
To understand why Caitlyn Clark might even consider leaving, you have to first grasp the jaw-dropping scale of her impact, because the numbers don't just speak, they roar. Before her debut, the WNBA was a niche product clawing for relevance. After she stepped onto the court, it transformed into must-see TV. Clark didn't just boost ratings, she sparked a full-blown economic surge, turning half-empty arenas into sold-out spectacles, not just in Indiana, but everywhere she played. Cities scrambled to move games into NBA-sized venues just to handle the crush of fans desperate to witness her in action, making it clear she didn't join the league, she redefined it.
This is all going according to plan. This is ideal. Caitlyn Clark is holding up her end by being awesome and by being a trash-talking jerk on the court. Love it. Her teammates are holding up their end by having her back. The other players in the league are holding up their end by not liking her. Perfect. Couldn't have written a better script. Caitlyn is talking trash to this girl's hard fouling her. Her teammate Sophie Cunningham, who got a black belt in Taekwondo at the age of 6, she's like, I will F you guys up. All of it's great, and Caitlyn's a killer. 10 out of 10.
Her jersey became the top selling across all sports the moment it dropped, while WNBA viewership on major networks exploded by triple digits. But the most jaw-dropping stat came when Caitlyn Clark was briefly sidelined with an injury. League viewership nosedived by a staggering 55%. Let that sink in. One player sits, and more than half the national audience disappears overnight. That's not just star power, that's market domination. Clark wasn't merely part of the league, she was the league, single-handedly driving its economy, filling its arenas, and effectively funding the very players and franchises that now seem to resent her for it.
Caitlyn Clark is driving the WNBA insane. It's to the point that she may need to step away from the WNBA, have a billionaire come in that has the money to prove a point, and say, Caitlyn, I'll pay you $50 million just to see if the WNBA can make it without you. Let's go create a completely different league and expose the hell out of the WNBA just to embarrass this Angel Reese girl that Jameel Hill just said she could go down as a Michael Jordan of WNBA.
Despite the millions she brought and the spotlight she reignited, Caitlyn Clark's welcome to the WNBA felt less like a red carpet and more like a calculated ambush in a back alley. From day one, it was clear that opposing teams had adopted a singular defensive game plan, test how much punishment she could take before breaking. This wasn't gritty basketball, it was a coordinated barrage of hip checks, blindside shoves, and reckless closeouts that flirted with outright assault. The crescendo came with Marina Mabrey's infamous shove, a full-body hit that launched Clark across the court in a move completely unrelated to the play, crystallizing the hostility aimed at the league's biggest draw.
I will say this, when Caitlyn Clark was out, they lost 55% of their viewership. So, basically, Caitlyn Clark is paying all their salaries.
Pretty much.
I mean, at the end of the day, you can hate her as much as you want, but she's brought in millions of dollars. So you should be kissing her
And that kind of defeated the purpose of Angel Reese's argument of she's like, hey, it's not just Caitlyn Clark that is bringing all the viewership to the WNBA. It's like, well, it definitely is. It's like it kind of proved that with the viewership rating being down that she significantly increases viewership.
They try so hard to compare her to Caitlyn Clark. They try so hard.
It was the kind of hit you'd expect in a hockey rink, not on a basketball court. Yet, through all the blows, what enraged Caitlyn Clark's critics the most wasn't how hard she was hit, but how calmly she got back up. No retaliation, no complaints, just a quiet resolve as she dusted herself off and returned to play. Her unshakable composure, instead of being praised as professionalism, was twisted into perceived arrogance, only intensifying the animosity and making the next hit even more vicious. The message was unmistakable. You will not outshine us, and if talent can't stop you, brute force will.
The fever and sun hold a brawl and a basketball game breaks out. This was something. Caitlyn Clark, without question, gets raked across the face. I think she gets poked in the eye, but it's difficult to tell.
If you're the Indiana Fever, you cannot stand by and let that happen. They need to make it clear to the officials. If you're going to let this happen, then we're going to stand up for our player and make a mess of the game, and you're going to have a big mess on your hands. So you need to stand up for this. You need to do something about this.
You've just learned with definitive data and beyond question that Caitlyn Clark controls more than half the audience for the entire WNBA.
But the punishment Caitlyn Clark endured on the court was only half the story, because the people responsible for enforcing the rules were eerily absent. As she was hacked, shoved, and slammed like a human piñata, referees stood by as if their whistles had vanished, downgrading blatant cheap shots to common fouls or ignoring them entirely. The message to the league couldn't have been clearer. It's open season. Even more damning was the silence from the WNBA front office, the very institution that should have protected its golden goose. They reacted faster to dress code violations than to the relentless, targeted physical campaign against the face of their brand.
A lot of us were expecting some sort of dip since Caitlyn Clark has been out with injury, but I don't think all of us were expecting the entire viewership of the entire WNBA to be down. And this tweet from Christine Brennan really stuck out to me. She said one player gets injured and more than half the TV audience for the entire league disappears. Has any other athlete ever had that kind of impact on a sport? Golf without Tiger definitely dropped precipitously on occasion, but not like this. This news is alarming for the league, and it's alarming for the league because this is such a crucial year for the WNBA.
The league's baffling inaction sparked a digital uprising. The Protect Caitlyn Clark movement, a fan-led crusade where viewers turned into slow-motion sleuths, dissecting every collision, circling illegal screens, and flooding social media with pleas for a flagrant foul call that never came. It pulled back the curtain on a glaring hypocrisy within the WNBA. They craved her marketing clout, her sold-out arenas, and her record-breaking TV ratings, yet refused to grant her even the basic protections given to any other player. This wasn't just neglect. It felt calculated, a silent green light for the hazing to continue unchecked.
I am sick and tired of the way they are treating my girl, Caitlyn Clark. I am here to propose a solution. I think they need an enforcer. You know, someone who comes off the bench to kind of lay the smackdown on an opposing team member. I want to get the word out to the Indiana Fever that I am available. I'm ready to identify as whatever I need to in order to get the job. They need someone like me. Why? Because I'm not afraid of any 6 foot tall lesbian. I work out. Now, I have a couple of real good go-to moves in my bag of tricks.
And just when you thought the chaos couldn't get any more absurd, the media entered the fray, not to condemn the violence, but to blame its target. Instead of spotlighting the dangerous hits, a twisted narrative took hold. The attacks were Caitlyn Clark's fault. She was too confident. She talked trash. She had it coming. It was a jaw-dropping reversal that defied basic logic, especially in the world of professional sports, a world fueled by swagger, mind games, and competitive fire. Michael Jordan made trash talk an art form. Larry Bird shattered psyches before tip-off. But when Caitlyn did the same, it wasn't seen as greatness. It was used as justification for assault. That's not analysis. That's scapegoating. And if this is how the WNBA treats its biggest star, then maybe the loudest rumor of all, that she's ready to walk, isn't just believable, it's inevitable.
And now we get word from the coach that Angel Reese is going to have a modified role.
Did you see the chaos happening with Angel Reese and the Chicago Sky? Coach Tyler Marsh just changed the game completely by shifting the focus to Camila Cardoso, pushing Angel off balance and all the way to the bench.
And new head coach Tyler Marsh is busy installing a different vision for Chicago's offense. The Sky plan to use second-year power forward Angel Reese much differently than how she was deployed in her rookie season.
And new head coach Tyler Marsh is already implementing a new direction for Chicago's offense. The Sky had intended to use second-year power forward Angel Reese in a way that's a major departure from her rookie season role. Just like that, the Sky's hierarchy took a major hit. So long, double-double streak. Reese supporters aren't just upset, they're in full-blown revolt on social media, claiming this is a scheme to erase Angel's historic rebounding rise before it even begins in the W. Is this the fall of Reese?
Angel Reese preseason part 2. Let's get it. What they say about layups, harder than nuclear physics. Bang! She's a point forward now, and nobody's more excited than opposing defenses. Time for the vintage underhand scoopity shot from 3 feet. Yep, there it is. Bang!
And here's where things heat up. Angel Reese hasn't been spotted at training camp since news of the change broke. The queen of stat padding is now being pushed to expand her game, hoisting mid-range jumpers despite a field goal rate of only 39.1%. Yep, that's the number. A pivot this drastic? It doesn't feel like growth. It feels like someone changed the script on her whole story. So, is this Chicago playing smart basketball or a quiet mission to fade Angel's brand?
The Chicago Sky's offense will no longer run through Kennedy Carter. Carter averaged 17.4 points per game in 2024, leading the Sky in scoring. Interesting. It should lead straight through, I believe she's 6'6"? Camila Cardoso down in the paint. That's who it should lead through. That's who it better lead through.
The news landed just days ahead of the Chicago Sky showdown with none other than Caitlyn Clark and the Indiana Fever. And Coach Marsh? He didn't just adjust lineups, he tore up the entire plan. Angel Reese's role hasn't just changed, it's been completely overhauled. Fans are stunned as one of the WNBA's most talked about players is being shoved into a brand new mold before the season even tips off.
It sounds like they're going to pull her out further from the basket, and I wonder how her fans are going to feel about that. If she's further away from the basket, that doesn't mean there's going to be a lot of, or as many, I would believe, offensive rebound opportunities for one Angel Reese.
Let's take it back. Angel carved out her whole image by grabbing rebounds like it was a mission. From LSU to the W, her double-double streak became her signature. She turned those numbers into headlines and jersey sales. Remember her second pro game when she pulled down 19 boards against Indiana? That moment blew up online, locking in her rep as a rebounding force.
If she's not as close to the basket on offense, which she shouldn't, it should clear out the paint and underneath the basket for Camila to be able to rebound. And we know she can hit layups. We've seen them. We've seen them over and over. I've seen plenty of videos.
But right when she thought her path was set, the Sky asked her to switch it up. Literally, they want her drifting from the paint to take mid-range shots. That's like asking Shaq to camp out at the three-point line. The very area she dominated is now off limits, and Angel's left trying to adapt, if she even wants to. Then there's the mechanics. Her shot release? It's slow, awkward. This isn't seamless. It's a square peg clashing with a round hoop while the shot clock winds down.
Chicago Sky wanted to take mid-range jumpers. Okay. However, Marsh wants her to add more versatility to her shot selection by hitting mid-range jumpers 10 to 15 feet from the basket. She's working on being able to shoot off dribble, and when the play call is for a catch and shoot. Yeah, but what does that mean? Because she's... look, we've all seen videos of her practicing. She's got a very, very slow as SERP release out there. So that should be interesting against anybody that's got any kind of a wingspan.
Let's be real. Reese's shooting efficiency is, frankly, inefficient. Just 39.1% from the field. And that's mostly shots near the rim. That's not just subpar. It's a glaring red flag. Instead of refining what she does best, the coaching staff wants her to build a brand new skill set. Meanwhile, here's the kicker. As Reese is pushed out of the paint, Cardoso is being given full control of it.
And they want her to shoot more mid-range. This should be very, very interesting.
And now, they want her taking more mid-range shots. This is about to get very, very interesting. Yep, Camila Cardoso, the Brazilian phenom, has taken over Angel's old spot under the rim. The very role that launched Angel's brand and built her social clout now belongs to someone else. And the optics, not great. Camila's rise feels almost too well timed, like a polished PR move wrapped up with a marketing ribbon.
And I think Angel's really good. I think she's really good, and I just think the team would be better if, you know, they anchored their defense around the elite defensive player and kind of ran their offense, maybe not through Camila because she's not going to pass it, but run their offense to the elite finisher.
Angel's no-show at training camp says a lot. Most pros view a new role as a chance to evolve, to grow their skill set. But Angel's response feels more like rejection. She's gone quiet, missing, brooding, maybe even plotting. Whatever it is, the message she's putting out doesn't scream teamwork or flexibility.
Per Julie Poe of the Chicago Sun-Times, Reese has yet to post up at training camp as she learns a new role for the offense. Oh, this should be very interesting. Quote, for Reese, that means adapting to a modified role that will tap into her full potential as a stretch four.
Let's be brutally real. This isn't Angel letting go of her strengths. It's her resisting growth. In today's league, having a dependable shot is the bare minimum, but she's holding firm. The Sky aren't targeting her. They're evolving with the game. A forward can't just crash the boards anymore. You've got to space the floor, generate offense, and keep the ball moving. Right now, Angel's game is stuck on loop. Rebound, put back, repeat. And when that formula's disrupted, she falters.
At the McDonald's, sponsoring the first ever fry cook in the WNBA. Bag work is off the dollar menu, man. What is this junk? Bang! Happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there. And most importantly, Mother Teresa, Mother Nature, and Mother 2. I'm watching because of me too. Bang! Did you know a croissant's most important ingredient is butter? Yes, butter. Butter. Butter pecan. Bang!
The real conversation we need to be having isn't whether the coach made a bad call. That's the surface level debate, the kind that gets clicks and headlines. But dig deeper, and you'll see the real issue isn't about a single decision. It's about development. It's about potential. It's about whether Angel Reese was ever truly given the space, the guidance, and the tools to evolve into something greater, into the kind of player today's game demands. This isn't about disrespect. This isn't personal. This is about basketball at the highest level, and basketball doesn't wait. Her change in role isn't a punishment, it's a shift rooted in the direction the modern WNBA is heading. Today's game is faster, more fluid, and unforgiving. It's built on spacing, versatility, and shot making, especially from forwards. If you can't shoot, if you can't stretch the floor, if your skill set is too limited, then no matter how passionate you are, no matter how dominant you once were, the game will evolve, and it will leave you behind. So the real question isn't, was this fair to Angel Reese? The question is, was she ever set up to succeed in the first place? And going forward, can she adapt? Can she grow fast enough to reclaim her place in a league that's already moving forward without her? That's the conversation worth having. Did you catch the latest? Ben Shapiro just took down Washington Mystics owner Sheila Johnson over her ridiculous comments about Caitlyn Clark.
So one of the bizarre controversies of the last week is Caitlyn Clark, who is the WNBA's only nameable star. Here, for example, is WNBA team owner Sheila Johnson. Here she is, ripping Caitlyn Clark and the fan base for liking Caitlyn Clark, saying it's only because Caitlyn Clark is white.
In what might as well be an Olympic gold medal for bad takes, Sheila's claiming that Clark didn't deserve Time Magazine's Athlete of the Year title, basically suggesting that everyone in the WNBA should be recognized, except for Caitlyn Clark.
Why couldn't they have put the whole WNBA on that cover and said the WNBA is the league of the year because of all the talent that we have? Because when you just keep singling out one player, it creates hard feelings. And so now you're starting to hear stories of racism within the WNBA, and I don't want to hear that. We have got to operate and become stronger as a league and respect everybody that's playing.
You heard that right. This is the ultimate everybody gets a trophy mentality, but cranked up to the max. Shapiro wasted no time shredding Johnson's argument, using his signature rapid-fire style to highlight just how ridiculous her position really is.
You're not putting the entire WNBA on the cover because not everybody can fit and nobody knows who any of those people are. By the way, 31% apparently of the entire Washington Mystics ticket sales this year came in 2 games. I will give you a guess as to which player was featured in those 2 games.
Exactly. Not everyone can fit inside the spotlight, and definitely not the entire WNBA. As for this talk of upliftment, let's not forget that 31% of the Washington Mystics' annual revenue has come from games featuring Caitlyn Clark and her team. Are we seriously supposed to pretend Caitlyn Clark isn't single-handedly bringing fresh energy to a league that's been struggling to stay relevant?
Look, I'm going to be completely honest about this. I thought what Wizards owner Sheila Johnson said about Caitlyn Clark came off as racist. Sheila Johnson is the black billionaire owner of the NHL's Washington Capitals, the NBA's Washington Wizards, and the WNBA's Washington Mystics. Johnson said she did not agree with Time Magazine making Caitlyn Clark the first ever WNBA player to be Athlete of the Year.
Sheila's claim that Caitlyn Clark's success somehow undermines the rest of the league definitely carries a whiff of something darker. It's hard to ignore how that perspective reeks of racism, whether she intended it or not.
And with putting Caitlyn Clark on the cover. Johnson said the entire WNBA should have been chosen as the League of the Year and that numerous stars should have been put on the cover. She said the WNBA has a long legacy of black stars and that, and I quote, something clicked with the WNBA last year because of the draft. It's not just Caitlyn Clark, it's Reese, as in, of course, Chicago's Angel Reese.
Seriously? Angel Reese doesn't even come close to Caitlyn Clark, both in skill and popularity. So why is Sheila so eager to downplay Clark's accomplishments? It's almost like she's trying to diminish something that clearly stands out on its own.
Johnson said, and I quote, "There's so much talent out there that's unrecognized, and I don't think we can pin it on just one player. When you single out one, it creates hard feelings," end of quote. Johnson said, what's been happening to black players on social media, and I quote, has got to stop, and that, and I quote again, this division of racism is going to tear us apart, end quote.
Exactly. Are we seriously going to stop celebrating a player just because others are feeling threatened or jealous? That doesn't sit right, does it? This is straight up unfair treatment. Sheila should be recognizing greatness, not trying to undermine it.
Johnson is saying to me, the majority of WNBA players are black and have always been black, that basketball belongs more to black players than to white, and that it's not healthy for the league to have a white player featured as Athlete of the Year on the cover of Time. Now, I'm pretty sure if WNBA MVP Asia Wilson had made the cover of Time as Athlete of the Year, Johnson wouldn't have had any problem with that. Just not the white girl.
Absolutely. What Sheila's implying is that we should start picking and choosing who gets praise based on the color of their skin, rather than their talent or achievements. It's absurd on so many levels, and frankly, it's a huge disservice to the game and the players who deserve recognition.
But this person put this on as a quote to this video. Sheila Johnson's worth $850 million, and she doesn't put a penny back into the neighborhood she comes from. Very interesting. She doesn't even come back to her high school to show little black girls that they can become her. My little cousins go to the same high school. They don't even know she exists. Very interesting indeed.
Did you catch that? It turns out Sheila might be guilty of the very thing she's accusing Caitlyn Clark of. That's right. She supposedly doesn't do charity or encourage the black kids in her community to become billionaires like herself. Talk about hypocrisy at its finest, folks.
Well, the league has always been woke, has always had an agenda. The league and the sports media, the establishment sports media that is, and their surrogates. Always. And they pride themselves on that.
It's become pretty clear that the WNBA has a lot of politics playing out behind the scenes. Could this be what's been holding the league back all these years? It's hard not to wonder if these power struggles and biases are part of the reason the league hasn't reached the level of recognition and success it deserves.
But since Caitlyn Clark stepped into the waters with the Time magazine interview, it's almost like you're gonna see more people, more comments, more demands. You're going to see it's going to be less and less about basketball, what you want to see, and it's going to be a whole lot of this stuff, because it's like she ripped off another layer of the onion, and this one is a big one. And so now people feel like they can just go all in.
Exactly. Sheila's opposition to Caitlyn Clark seems rooted in the fact that, like many so-called woke figures, she's recognized that Clark isn't playing by the usual political playbook. Instead of bending to certain narratives or pushing an agenda, Clark is simply focused on earning her success through talent. And that's something that doesn't sit well with people who expect athletes to follow their scripted roles.
But this, of course, is the Mystics owner that said that Caitlyn Clark should give up her Time magazine award and give it to the entire WNBA. Of course, that has now become a running joke, and the mother of all community checks came down here and nailed her. 31% of Mystics' total home attendance for the 2024 season came from the 2 games versus Caitlyn Clark and the Fever.
Newsflash, Sheila, sports thrive on competition, not on the equality of outcome. Claiming that Caitlyn Clark doesn't deserve to be singled out is like saying LeBron James should share his accolades with the benchwarmers just because of team effort. That's not how greatness works. Individual brilliance deserves recognition, and Clark has earned every bit of it.
It's important that we say, you know what? You want to go all in? You want to go in, people with a lot of nonsense? Then guess what? We're going to go in too, and we're going to expose the nonsense.
Exactly. A lot of these racist attitudes flourish when there's no pushback or challenge. That's why speaking out isn't just an option, it's a responsibility. If we stay silent, we're allowing these harmful views to persist unchecked. It's crucial to stand up and call out hypocrisy when we see it.
What it is. A lot of times, like you, we're just like, we just want to let's just play basketball. But then when they start saying nonsense, like when the owner of a WNBA team, Sheila Johnson, Washington Mystics, when she says some of the stuff like she said that people are talking about today, it's like, okay, you want to play hardball? Then let's play.
Absolutely. Caitlyn Clark isn't just a great player. She's a mythical juggernaut and a cultural icon. She's rewriting the rules of the game, and her numbers prove it. She's not just good, she's the best. And anyone who tries to deny that is ignoring the undeniable facts.
There is a celebration right now in the WNBA dump. And of course, the party is being hosted by their pretend friends in the mainstream media. Angel Reese, who the media wants you to believe is the face of the WNBA, when at minimum, she is the co-star in this box office drama. Hell, some people might even consider her to be a part of the supporting cast.
While seasoned WNBA players have been criticizing Caitlyn Clark's influence, a 19-year-old USC sensation has just revealed a groundbreaking truth that is shaking up the entire league.
I have been saying this for a while now. This is one of the main problems with the WNBA. They want to pick and choose which players are celebrated. They want to tell you who you should support.
Remember when players like Angel Reese and Diana Taurasi were minimizing Clark's impact? Well, Juju Watkins has just set a new standard for everyone. What's truly fascinating is that her reaction to Caitlyn Clark isn't merely causing a stir, it's signaling a significant change in how the upcoming generation of players envisions the future of women's basketball. If you've been keeping up with the WNBA lately, you know something big is unfolding. Juju Watkins' actions go beyond creating ripples. They're fundamentally altering our perception of what lies ahead for the sport. This conversation is essential because it's not just about a single interview, it represents an entirely new mindset towards basketball. Let's begin by looking at the developments in women's basketball over the past year. Caitlyn Clark has been smashing records consistently, fundamentally transforming how fans engage with the game. We're seeing packed arenas, unprecedented viewership numbers, and the kind of attention the WNBA has been striving for over the years. But things took an intriguing and somewhat complicated turn. If you find this analysis helpful, make sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more comprehensive basketball insights. While Clark was drawing significant attention to the sport, the reactions from WNBA veterans were equally noteworthy. Remember Diana Taurasi's remarks? She appeared on air discussing how Clark might need time to adapt and questioned if she was truly ready for the WNBA. Taurasi is undeniably a legend, but her comments, along with those from other seasoned players, seemed to overlook the broader picture. Then there's Angel Reese, who has been more focused on social media disputes than on celebrating the sport's advancement. I understand it's challenging to see someone else receive instant recognition when you've been battling for acknowledgement yourself. However, this is where our narrative takes an unexpected twist.
Unlike the other 99% of the WNBA, Angel Reese damn sure ain't an extra. When you see her pretty face, at least you can recognize it. After spending the last 12 or so months complaining about being sexualized, after spending the last 12 months complaining about the dirty messages that she receives from lonely men on social media, Angel Reese, she was given the cover of the winter edition of Vogue magazine. This is amazing! This is quite the accomplishment!
Enter Juju Watkins. At just 19 years old, she's making waves at USC by breaking her own records. However, it's not only her on-court achievements that have everyone buzzing. It's her insightful views on the growth of the sport that are capturing attention. During her interview on Fox News, Watkins went beyond the standard PR talk and shared profound wisdom that many veterans, twice her age, seem to overlook. When questioned about the increasing spotlight on women's basketball, she offered a meaningful perspective. The mere fact that people are watching is a significant achievement in itself. Let's delve into why this is so important. For decades, the WNBA has been battling an uphill struggle, facing skeptics, limited media exposure, and at times, outright dismissal of their talents and contributions.
Some might even call it hypocritical. You guys tell me, what would be the bigger accomplishment? Landing the cover of Vogue or being named Athlete of the Year by Time magazine?
Many athletes have adopted a defensive stance, and honestly, who can blame them? Constantly fighting for respect makes you protective of your achievements. However, Watkins is different. She belongs to a generation that has seen women's sports become more accessible through social media. She understands how engagement, both positive and negative, can drive growth. When she talks about accepting that not all attention will be positive, she shows a level of business savvy that's impressive for her age. While some veterans express frustration about new fans not understanding the game's history or questioning their legitimacy, Watkins welcomes everyone, regardless of how they arrived. This isn't just about kindness, it's about understanding modern sports expansion. The contrast is even clearer when looking at how players handled media attention this past year. Some veterans resented the new fans brought by Caitlyn Clark, but Watkins advocates embracing them all, including critics. This goes beyond inclusivity. It's about grasping the economics of today's sports. In the digital age, engagement is crucial. TV deals, sponsorships, and merchandise sales all rely on people paying attention to your sport. When Watkins says she's okay with people watching, even if they oppose her, she shows a deep understanding of how sports leagues grow in the 21st century. At just 19, Watkins displays more business insight than some league executives. She realizes that in the age of social media and viral content, every form of engagement holds value. Even negative attention can spark interest, generate conversations, and ultimately help grow the sport.
Not female athlete of the year, I'm talking about athlete of the year, which means if you won the award, you were competing with legends like Patrick Mahomes, LeBron James, Steph Curry, Donnie Carr, and who could forget the legend of legends, the icon of icons, Willard Green.
What's truly intriguing is how Watkins handles criticism. Instead of the typical clap back at haters approach seen from some players, she adopts a more thoughtful perspective. She understands that not everyone will be supportive and views even negative attention as a part of growth. This isn't just mature, it's smart from a business standpoint. Look at legends like Muhammad Ali and Michael Jordan. Ali welcomed fans who wanted to see him face defeat, and Jordan embraced those who loved to hate him. Both knew that being polarizing can boost a sport's interest. This mindset is exactly what women's basketball needs now. With players like Caitlyn Clark attracting unprecedented attention and athletes like Watkins demonstrating such maturity, there's a real chance for transformative growth. What's even more compelling is that Watkins isn't just accepting new fans. She's actively embracing the kind of attention some veterans resist. She recognizes that in today's sports world, engagement, even controversial, fuels growth. Imagine a WNBA where players welcome all forms of attention, viewing debate and criticism as signs of relevance rather than disrespect. New fans feel included, no matter how they discovered the sport through Caitlyn Clark, Juju Watkins, or others. This could be the blueprint for the next phase of women's basketball. Instead of getting defensive or questioning new fans' authenticity, embrace all engagement to build something bigger.
All eyes around the state, around the country, around the world are on the Indiana Fever. And Bria, this is going to be a lot of fun.
Caitlyn Clark has just shattered expectations by achieving in 41 games what took Diana Taurasi a staggering 565 games to reach. Take a moment to let that sink in. What we're seeing unfold, from rookie to sophomore, is not just impressive. It might be one of the most extraordinary leaps in the history of professional basketball.
There it is! A triple.
everyone's buzzing about Caitlyn Clark's triple-double, but that was just the tip of the iceberg. In reality, Clark and the Indiana Fever shattered 11 different records in that game alone. I've broken down every second of the Fever's crushing victory over the Chicago Sky, and what I uncovered will absolutely blow your mind. That triple-double? It was only the opening act of a night that rewrote the entire WNBA record book.
Having the Fever organization be what it is today, like, it is just so fun to be a part of. There's been a lot of anticipation.
You've done a great job in training camp leading to this moment. Enjoy it. Okay, go out there and have some fun.
While all eyes were glued to Caitlyn Clark that night, a quietly historic moment almost slipped by unnoticed. DeWanna Bonner stepped onto the court, just 7 points shy of basketball immortality. Pause and think about that. 15 years of relentless professional excellence, thousands of points scored, and now standing on the verge of becoming the third highest scorer in WNBA history.
Bonner is the fourth all-time leading scorer in WNBA history, and in her first game with the Fever, will likely move into third all-time. She's currently just 6 points behind Tina Thompson for third on the all-time scoring charts.
Would anyone even catch this milestone amid all the Fever frenzy? That question lingered in the air as the Chicago game tipped off. Since 2009, Bonner has been quietly stacking points, rising through the ranks with Phoenix, Connecticut, and now Indiana. And here she was, just 7 points shy of overtaking Tina Thompson on the WNBA's all-time scoring list.
Bonner, who knocks it away, cookies, TV, open court, right side, and she lays it in!
The moment of truth came in the final quarter. Bonner stepped up to the free throw line with 2 shots to take. The first swished through the net, tying the record amid roaring cheers from the crowd. Then came the second, smooth and precise, catapulting her past 7,488 career points and cementing her place as only the third player in the 28-year history of the WNBA to reach this incredible scoring milestone.
One more free throw for Bonner. It's in the air, and it's good. DeWanna Bonner now third in WNBA history in scoring. 7,489 points and counting. Lord, and here's the ovation for Bonner.
What makes Bonner's milestone even more remarkable is the way she's reshaped the Fever's culture. This isn't just an aging star chasing personal glory. She's a 6-time All-Star, 2-time champion, and the heartbeat of a young team hungry for a winning blueprint. When Bonner speaks in the locker room, rising stars like Clark, Boston, Kelsey Mitchell, and Lexi Hull hang on every word.
You know, DB is somebody that, you know, is a Hall of Famer, like a legend, not only a good basketball player, a great person, a great leader. You know, the strongest voice in our locker room is hers. And it's fun to have been around here now for about a month just to get to learn from her and soak it in. And I'm really happy she got to do it at the free throw line and all the fans could go crazy and cheer for her because she certainly deserved that moment. And it was really awesome to see and be a part of.
The Indiana crowd rose to their feet as the PA announcer proudly announced Bonner's milestone. It was a powerful reminder that even in an age of viral highlights and rising young stars, true greatness that spans decades still commands respect. Bonner's ascent to become the third all-time leading scorer wasn't just a personal triumph, it set the stage for a night packed with record-smashing performances. With only Tina Charles ahead at 7,696 points, Bonner now eyes the second spot on the all-time scoring list. But as monumental as her achievement was, the night was far from over. Another Fever star was ready to show why Indiana's future shines with such fierce promise. Remember when skeptics doubted Aaliyah Boston's ability to dominate, especially against fellow South Carolina alum Camila Cardoso, who towers at 6 feet 7 inches? Those doubts were crushed in the most emphatic way imaginable during the showdown with the Chicago Sky.
All right, y'all. Hey, good stuff. Okay, we did a lot of really good things. I thought our defense was really good, and when we had lapses, we played through possessions. All right, so we made things happen. Y'all, overall, just hell of an effort.
Boston came into her third season with a chip on her shoulder. She wasn't just aiming to be a great player, she was determined to cement herself as a franchise cornerstone alongside Clark, forging the dynamic duo set to drive Indiana's success for the next decade. The foundation of something truly special was taking shape in Indianapolis. The Chicago frontcourt, however, arrived full of confidence. Angel Reese had spent the week boldly declaring she'd dominate the paint against Boston. Through Instagram posts, press conferences, even warm-ups, Reese was loud and clear. She expected to own that matchup. Boston's reply? A defensive masterclass that left everyone speechless. 5 thunderous blocks sent sky shots sailing into the stands, igniting the crowd and forcing fans out of their seats, eyes locked on the scoreboard. Every time Reese rose for a shot, Boston was there, waiting, ready, unyielding. That defensive dominance propelled Boston to 6th place on the Fever's all-time blocks leaderboard, a testament to her rising impact on both ends of the floor. Those 13 rebounds weren't just impressive, they were historic. In only her 3rd season, Boston vaulted into 8th place on the Fever's all-time rebounding list. Think about that. Decades of players have battled on the boards for Indiana, and she's already among the franchise's elite top 10. Combine that with 19 points and 5 blocks, and Boston stepped into truly rarefied air. She became only the 2nd player in WNBA history to start a season opener with 15-plus points, 10-plus rebounds, and 5-plus blocks. The first being Natasha Howard back in 2014. That's elite company for any player, especially one still so early in her career.
Yes, great job of those long arms of the Leah Boston here, going up multiple times and then...
Clark to Boston connection was flawless all night long. Clark kept locking in on Boston, delivering pinpoint passes, whether it was a slick high-low feed or a perfectly timed bounce pass, setting her up for easy buckets. Meanwhile, Boston stood guard like the rim-held state secrets, shutting down every lane Chicago tried to exploit. Though Reese pulled down 17 rebounds, her offensive game faltered badly. She shot just 5 for 14 from the field, constantly stymied by Boston's impeccable timing and defensive positioning. What was hyped as a showdown turned into a masterclass in defense, with Boston owning the paint and controlling the tempo.
Hit it once, I'll hit it again. Pow, pow, pow! Fever dub.
But the most jaw-dropping moment of defensive brilliance came when Boston teamed up with another Fever player to shatter a record never before seen on a WNBA opening night. A partnership so dominant, it's forcing scoring wings and guards across the league to rethink how they attack Indiana's defense. What Caitlyn Clark did against the Sky wasn't just impressive, it was unprecedented. In the 28-year history of the WNBA, no one has ever pulled off what she did that season opener. Not Diana Taurasi, not Sue Bird, not Cheryl Swoops, no one.